Oh, we have to know how to fall effectively. We have to know how to fall safely. Our kids do the same thing in a sport context, but what they're learning is effective if somebody's trying to hurt you physically. Whether it's in a ring, whether it's in a cage, whether it's on the street, we want this to work at all times. So we need to learn how to fall effectively. If I get pushed, if I don't fall correctly, then my head's gonna bounce off the surface that I'm about to land on. And that's obviously very bad. So we're gonna do what's called break fall. The way we're gonna start it first is we're gonna start it from an almost seated position. So we're gonna start from right here, and we're gonna drop to our butts, tuck in our chins, and we're gonna slap the mat with the palms of our hands to slow our progression. So we don't roll over backwards, and we don't slam the back of our head on the mat. Outside of here, if this happens, you may be landing on a surface like concrete or an indoor hard floor, which is basically concrete. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to stand up effectively. We're going to continue to do the same things over and over again for weeks until we understand them intimately. That's the way I stand up when I'm standing up in my living room from playing video games, sitting on the floor. You know, just to keep it correctly, the correct usage of it in mind every time I stand up. So that's called stand and base. So the first thing we're doing is called break fall. I keep my chin tucked in my chest. I keep my shoulders off the ground as much as I possibly can. And I slow my descent by slamming the mat. And see how it kind of makes a barrier with these frames my arms just became. And I'm going to stand in base. So, we're going to do the break fall first. Y'all step away from the wall. Get you a amount of space. Stretch your arms out where you know you've got a good amount of space. So, you're going to squat to where you're almost seated, and then you're going to hit the ground with your butt. Keep your chin tucked, you're going to slap the mat. Stretch your arms out all the way. Don't be scared of it. We have to learn how to fall correctly, safely.
Name?
Very good. Remember, our head's not touching the floor is paramount.
Yes.
That's the main thing. When we tuck our chin, it keeps our head in the correct position, not to ricochet off the floor like a basketball. And try to stretch your arms out as far as you can. Really exaggerate that slap on the mat when you do it. Stretch your arms out all the way. Very good. Yes. If you already know how to stand in base, every time you stand up, stand in base. But we're gonna learn how to stand in base in a minute. You got to get familiar with this break fall. We're gonna do this a lot. Imagine if you're getting thrown in a actual grappling match. I mean, you can float off the air 3 or 4 feet before you land on the ground, and it can be very violent. So this prepares us for that.
No.
Helps us to understand what it feels like to fall.
Pretty much.
And if you get brave after you've done it for about 10 times, start a little further up, where you're not all the way into a seated position. You're in a almost seated position. You're hovering above the toilet. Right? That's exactly. That gas station chili cheese dog gets you.
Well,
The only thing you can do is what you have to do. So you hover. So try for that position once you get comfortable. And remember, if you know how to stand in base,
play with something, man. Sure. Do some push-ups.
Do about 5 more, and then we're going to talk about the stand in base part.
Gotta pay attention, there's people falling. Play with hands, Mario. Get your time to play with hands.
What?
Young man.
Look, this will save your butt at home.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally. Or
Wait,
your
what?
head. It'll save your head
Supposed
at
to
home.
save your butt?
Your head.
Oh, head. Save my butt.
Like when you watch YouTube and those guys when they fall, it's when they hit their head that the real damage is done. And so if you train this to be instinctive, you will save yourself a trip to the hospital.
Over there. Stay on the butt.
Okay, so we've made it to the ground somehow. If we do end up on the ground, the best possible approach is to stay off your back, right? If you get on your back, it's easier for the other person to create a leverage position where they can just beat you, and that's not good. So you notice whenever I do land, after I break fall, I try to immediately come up off of my back onto my butt,
Hey, right here.
right? It puts me in a position where I'm not just laying there like a dead cockroach looking at the guy about to kill him.
Can you put it on
Right.
top?
That's what I call that. I call them the dead cockroach guard. Oh no, don't kill me.
Hey, try to
Right?
rebuild them.
It's
Try to
not very
rebuild them.
effective. If I sit up, now
You're
I've got
trying
to
to
be in a
build and
position
her
where I
trying to kick
can
them down.
stand in base and get back to my feet. We call this a butterfly
She built them
position
last
for
time.
obvious reasons. What I like to do is keep my
Rebuild them.
knees flared, my elbows to the inside, my hands up, and now I can defend myself effectively from punches, kicks, any kind of assault they try to do to me, if they try to jump on top of me, whatever the case may be. But I want to get back to my feet. If I have to, and I can get up to my feet and run and get away from the situation. If they're trying to hurt me, that's never a bad thing to do. Pride is not a reason to fight in the streets and die for something stupid, right? If you can get to your feet and get away from the problem, that's a good thing to do. So I'm gonna stand in base. One of the things you'll notice when I'm doing this, thing we call standing base, is keeping him away from me with a frame, right? I've got a frame here, I've got a frame here, and it even makes it, see how I'm kind of bucking his knee a little bit to make it uncomfortable for the other person? If I just try to stand up, see how difficult that is? He just easily pushes me down. And if it's a striking situation, he just crack me with look there. I'm just sitting right into it, right? Now if he tries to do that, makes it much more difficult for him to assault me.
Hey,
Yes? So we're gonna do this technique. We've
hold on.
hit the ground, unfortunately. That's good. So we've hit the ground, unfortunately. I try to get up off my butt, or my back onto my butt as quick as possible. And now I'm gonna stand in base. I'm gonna pick a side, and I'm gonna go to the opposite side, and I'm gonna lift my entire body up off the floor. Simple enough. So let's all break fall, and we're gonna do it together at the same time. So pick a side, and you're gonna go the opposite hand, and you're gonna lift your entire body up off the floor. And we're gonna get that hand out in front, and we're really gonna exaggerate this, and we're gonna feed this leg through our hole we've created right here, like we're feeding the needle thread through the eye of the needle. Really exaggerate it, and we can stand right up off it. Great ball, do it again. There you go. Now pick your butt up off the floor.
This one can swing around, right?
Yeah, that one's gonna swing. There you go. Now stand up.
That's pretty good.
Very nice.
Hey guys,
Hey,
keep
come on,
going.
guys. Hey, why don't y'all go over
The
there and
opposite
play
leg, I
that
have to
for
think
me?
about it.
Assaulted.
Hey, oh, get over here. Stay over here.
This is super important. We like to take MMA fights and use this as an example of how people mess their things up and pay for it. There's guys like Finn Page that's very popular. He's in Bellator.
Why? I want
He
to.
did this against a guy he got
It's a matter of trying to bend this one to get it over.
Get on his knees. I thought his whole head was gonna fall off. He didn't stand in base. He just tried to stand up right in front of him. The guy
On my
just
back.
mollywop. Is the old saying
Here you
goes.
go.
Very nice. Really exaggerate that leg. Really swing it out and swing it through. It'll help the momentum get your butt up off the floor a little quicker.
Yes, you do.
Break the wall.
Hey, guess what? Do you want to know what fun stuff do you want? What?
There's on both sides too. We don't like to train to have a dummy side. We do it from both directions, because you never know which direction you're gonna have to do something.
If you're not running, can you change the color?
No? Yeah.
Opposite hand, opposite foot.
Opposite hand, opposite foot.
Deco, you want to
Oh, right.
Deco.
See, and that's why we do this. The repetition right there will help us.
Flower?
You don't have to think about it. You just start standing up like this all the time, and you'll realize that it's realistically a more efficient way to stand up off the seated position. Like if you just sit on the floor and do laundry, or like play video games, or wrestle with my,
Yeah,
90
you don't
pound.
you don't realize this has far-reaching potential, even in advanced situations.
There you go.
This is the building block to A, first keep us safe, and B, teach us how to move on the ground. It's like learning how to swim.
Oh, yeah. Chill.
Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pair up, and we're gonna have one person. Keep pushing me.
Blocks. There's 40 blocks.
And I'm gonna stand at base. I'm gonna protect myself from him jumping on top of me. Y'all ready for some of that?
Okay.
Yeah? Y'all are. I can tell.
Okay.
Hey, partner. Or here, you can work in with the ladies. Here, you guys. Four of them. How about that?
Right?
You don't have to push them hard, but you want somebody to realize what an actual, right? And now stand in base. Very good.
Me
See?
too.
We have to understand what it feels like in a real scenario. Remember, put that foot out. You have to touch her, whatever leg is leaning towards you, put that foot there and push off of it. You use that other person, the fact that they're standing there with a post, they give you something to give yourself more leverage. Right? Their aggression will work against you.
Yes.
I got a big one. So we can go
There you go. Yes. Yes. Again.
You confused me because I got so used to one side.
That's why we don't.
Very good.
You're gonna break your leg behind you.
And no leg. We're gonna look like a pirate.
Ready?
What do we call her?
Remember, really exaggerate that baby foot. I'm here. I'm trying to
It
touch
really is important. I actually hit a guy. He was coming up with his hands on the mat.
I know
End
if
of the fight
I'm,
right
I know
there.
if I have him.
So you got to put that hand out. There's a lot more than you realize. Okay? A lot more than you realize.
He was even looking. He was expecting it.
Yeah. Well, my students are tagging.
So really exaggerate. That's really something.
Do again. Go down. No.
We just have to.
In his knees.
Right?
Right.
I'm going off what he says.
How about you now?
Really stretch
What
that.
is that? What is that? What is that? There.
Do this.
I was like, wait, wait.
Someone's trying to jump on top of you. Someone's trying to hold you down.
Imagine if
You're
somebody
putting a
touched.
stick between you and the hard to do that.
You're gonna be something off the ground like this far, so,
Aria,
the more you
guys gotta keep on
exaggerate
today.
that slap, the less that,
Mia, you gotta keep everybody over here. That's your job.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know. It gives you.
Okay, guys.
right.
Say,
Guys.
That's the
Guys.
problem.
Guys.
I can bring a baby game.
I need a.
Lock them in the corner.
You ready to fall?
Yeah.
Okay, fall.
Get go. Get go.
Man,
Make
that's
sure
right.
you
So if someone tries to envelop you,
don't treat
alright,
them on the mountain because they're dangerous stuff. Okay?
it keeps you
Don't treat them
harder
on the
to
mountain.
grab.
Don't
It
treat them
allows
on
you
the
to
mountain.
start moving away.
You
Yeah, I
have
already know that. I do it to Connor all the time.
babies are not supposed to hurt.
may not, you know, if he's crazy and athletic, he like jumps up in the air, something crazy, right? But look, you have something between you.
Yeah.
She's 2.
Oh, yeah, and that's go.
I know. She can have it. It's her go. Keep it quiet. And I know how to get out of here, so it's alright.
All right, do a few more pieces, and then we're gonna talk about what happens if they're a little more aggressive. All right?
Let's go, be right
Each
back.
one of y'all do a few more pieces.
Number 5, remember not to fall off of me. Frank, I gotta go somewhere so I can keep an eye on them. Okay?
Go. No go.
I gotta go and ask my dad a quick question. I'll be back.
Maria,
Ball.
I will take your gun. We'll sit over there.
Oh my goodness.
Now.
You're gonna lose the gun. That.
I need a little table.
She has shit in that bag. That's why I throw everything in there. Like, find something.
Just so totally my fucking space. Oh, we can run around in here, man. This mat feels super cool on my feet. That hurt my arm like a
Is this spicy gum?
Yep.
All right,
Can't be too
everybody-
spicy, too
Everybody get
sweet.
one more.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah, just one more. And then we're gonna, because we're gonna have a 5-10 more minutes before the kids come in, so we're gonna talk about what happens if we can't get a ball for bus.
I'm like ADHD, so I'm like worried about everything else.
Look for skeletons. Yeah, they're here.
Sweet, nothing.
Okay, let me make mine.
You know what's one thing I could give up, Kurt?
What's that?
All right.
My sweet tea.
Okay, go and get that one, okay?
Y'all grab a sip of water real quick.
I tell you, there's always something hiding.
I drink at least one of these a day.
Is there anything that you can substitute
Wait,
sweet or
wait, get those.
the stevia one for you? Notice?
Ew.
I just check.
Well, here's the deal. You're not trying to lose weight. Like,
I know.
you're not trying to lose
But
weight.
I am trying to eat healthier and
Still, listen, sugars aren't bad. Sugar's an
Well, I'm
excess.
sorry, I can't make her.
yeah.
Okay, so
I can.
if you're
Scare me up.
problem
It's a good
gaining
I will
weight,
Say
don't
please.
worry about it.
Use your manners. Say please.
She can, little kids laugh on that.
But if it comes down to a point where you need to lose some weight, that would be something that I would absolutely suggest.
I can.
Mommy.
All right, so let's talk about what happens. Let's talk about what happens if I can't get a ball first. They're really aggressive.
Why are you wet?
So,
Why is your shirt
Hurry
wet?
up, Shelby.
yeah, you're good.
Fabric.
So we get into a position for whatever reason. This guy pushes me, and I end up putting my butt. I break fall. I keep him away, but look, he's being super aggressive. Let's say he comes all the way down, and I get off my butt, and he ends up on his knees trying to like punch me and stuff like that. I want to get into what we call butterfly positioning, right? But now, I know that was kind of a convoluted scenario we did there, but you know, for whatever reason, he didn't just push me and then just stand over the top of me far enough away from me to get up, right? He gets here, I want to stay off my back like we said before, and we get into this butt position where I can stick my feet in here like hooks behind his thighs. I'm gonna grab right here on this hamstring, and I'm gonna pull, and I can lift with it. I can use it to just keep him from pushing me on top. Put a nice frame in here if he tries to punch me. Right? So I'm keeping myself protected right here. We're gonna learn about a thing we call frames, which it is what it sounds like. It's like the frame of a house. You know, it's a structure we create that stops his ability to press in on me and beat me up. But for now, we're just going to talk about a movement that we use called the butterfly sweep. I want to get him off of me. So this is the first thing we do and learn from here. So I am going to insert what we call a frame. I'm going to make an L with my arm, and wherever my elbow is, that's going to be a bone structure. He's not going to be able to just push through this, right? I mean, that's not super comfortable, but it doesn't take a lot of energy for me to stop him from pushing right there, right? I mean, I'm still talking to y'all while he's doing it, you know? So it makes it a really effective way for me to not only stop him from smushing me, but control him also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this frame and I'm going to insert it right here on his collarbone right there, and I'm going to grab behind his head to what we call a collar tie. And the next thing I'm going to do is grab his other hand and I'm going to swing him this way as I flip him over for what we call a butterfly sweep. Simple enough, right? Want to see it again?
Yeah.
All right.
I already forgot it.
I guess so. So we're going to insert what do we call this? This is a frame. Yeah. If I'm here, I've made a frame here, then I'm stopping my progression this way, and I've made a frame here that stops his progression, right? Any of these things where I create a bone structure that he can't just push through, the only way he can deal with this is to pass the frame to go around at an angle. Now he's beating it, but not because he beat my bone structure. He went around it, right? So we're going to save this, but this is what we're going to do tomorrow to add with what we did today. Okay? This is going to be a dynamic set of movements that you guys are going to get to learn. A good way to defend ourselves, but it's also a good way to learn jiu-jitsu and have some fun with it too. So flipping people over like this, the first time you do it, you're like, all right, that's pretty sweet. Yeah. I did that for real, you know, and it's like, all right, and that guy's like a lot bigger than me. All right, that's cool. I like that.
Makes you feel real helpless when somebody a lot smaller than you does it too.
Yeah. And they're laughing at you. Yeah. It's like one of the teenagers and they catch you and they flip you over and you're just like a little turd. So, anyways, we're going to let the kids have this. We're going to do some more of the same thing that we did today tomorrow. We're going to continue to drill the things that we learn daily. We're going to drill those all the next day with the new stuff that we learn. That way we get into a routine where we can just come in here and like, hey, we're going to do the adult class, but I walk in and I say, okay, everybody warm up. Y'all know what to warm up with. Oh, we do 5 or 10 of these each, you know, and we get our bodies going and our blood flowing and sweat going and stuff like that, but we're learning a technique in the process of doing it. So it gives us the best of both worlds. Because you see, it's, you know, it's very physical, right? I mean, it takes a lot of energy, muscle. The more you do it, the stronger you get and all that kind of good stuff. So y'all did great today. Y'all did fantastic. Tomorrow we'll talk about that butterfly and the frame a little more. We'll continue with the break falls and the standing bases, and we'll just keep doing that for now. That's going to be the main crux of what we do this week, are those 3 things. Cool? Good job today. Thank y'all for coming. I appreciate y'all.
You're also welcome to
Come here.
more advanced classes.
Daddy's
Whenever
in
you
class.
feel more comfortable.
Can't keep coming over and asking for anything.
Do these classes because I don't get to cover a lot.
Now, what do you want?
Okay.
This is the building blocks.
I can't hear you.
I didn't know either.
What? What's those? What are you talking about?
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, eat this.
We're going to do the options
We have
this week.
another toy.
Your house full of us.
There's a follow-up to it too, that even if you're successful in something, yeah.
Tylenol will be my friend.
Good job, David. Awesome.
Yeah, they're usually have time. You get used to it eventually.
Good job today.
I really feel like I did
I
my
want you to
part.
be a
Well, you did more than you realized.
It was easier to
It's, you know, we only get 30 minutes because, you know, we have to give up some space for the kids. So once we have more space, we'll be able to do this for an hour. And it'll be, you know, hopefully we can get it. It's better when we have an even number because then you can snap to it. But,
Yeah.
you know. Anyways, I'll be great. Fantastic.
You might have to take Tylenol.
brownie cake.
Oh, they stink.
I think so. Hey, did you have this turned around the wrong way the whole time?
Fighting is very rarely do people ready to go.
I'm gonna call him over so he can see the. So it's gonna be. Hey, Kurt. Come here. Did you have it turned around the wrong way the whole time?
No. No.